What's going on, guys? It's your boy Motoman Dan. Today we're going to be talking about Dwerve. Dwerve is an interesting action game that you place towers as you go through the story when enemies come up to you. It's very old school Legend of Zelda vibe going on. And yeah, I mean it's very unique. I've played a lot of tower defense games. I haven't seen a tower defense game quite like this, where you are tower defensing your way through the campaign. So it's really interesting. And by that I mean like in this style, in this sort of sense, right? Where it's a story and you're going through and you're doing puzzles and moving from point A to point B, and you're having to build towers to to get there. So, but it does also have in the main menu, it has another section for tower defense that is much more similar to a standard tower defense, where you select a level, you play it, and it's always going to be the same. It's got the same enemies, blah, blah, blah. Which leads us into our grading. So, the towers, 3 out of 10. When you're playing story mode, I believe you can have up to 10 emeralds, and it costs 2 emeralds per tower. 1 per trap. But then whenever they're destroyed, you get refunded those emeralds. And so there is a bit of strategy involved. And they do have their own hit points and stuff. You'll see some of that in the background footage. Feel free to check out the stream that we did on this as well for some more in-depth information. But whenever you're playing the tower defense mode as well, they give you the towers. You don't get to pick the towers. And it's always going to be the same. Always the same enemies. But it's only the same, like 3 towers plus 1 trap kind of thing, and that's all you really get is the 4 slots to use whenever you're playing through this in the story mode as well. So you don't get a lot of option. The upgrades are done in an upgrade bench, which happen after you collect these things called gears. Then you can afford to do that. When you're in the tower defense mode, there is no upgrading. You just get the towers that you get, and that's it. So, with all that limitation, towers just get a 3 out of 10. For enemies, I give the enemies a 3 out of 10. There's no repository of enemies that I could find, and I looked around a bit to try to figure it out, but there are enemies that are a bit different from each other. However, most of them are just kind of straightforward. They just follow the track, or the flyers skip the track, but I don't know. They don't seem as unique, and you kind of can tell what's coming out. They put up a good challenge, but overall, I think the enemies, just as far as the tower defense is concerned, is more of a 3 out of 10. And in the tower defense mode, I would still rate it about the same. From what I played. There could be really special stuff coming up. I don't know, but we played a good solid several hours of it. The progression is 10 out of 10. It's linear, it's straightforward, it's story mode based. It's a 10 out of 10. Special enemies, I give a 7 out of 10. There really aren't too many special enemies. Everything here can destroy your traps. Like I said, you do get flyers, you get ranged enemies, stuff like that. However, the bosses, at least I think we only fought one boss, but it was a cool fight. I mean, it was a neat fight to play on that. So 7 out of 10 for special enemies. For resources, you get a 3 out of 10. The emeralds you get, you place towers, but it's a limited amount. Whenever you lose a tower, you get the emerald back, kind of thing. Whenever you're playing the tower defense mode, killing enemies gives you gears. Gears builds towers. But that's it. So there's always a set amount of gears that you're going to get. There's always a set amount of emeralds that you have in the story mode. Well, I think you get, you'll end up getting more of them, but it's locked through progress of the story. The micro to pacing ratio, I give a 5 out of 10. There really isn't a lot of micro, and the pacing's not bad. Which is why I give it 5 out of 10. There's just not a lot of stuff that you have to do for micro. So, like, your character shoots boomerangs without you doing anything. You just have to be stationary. The towers that you place is on the QWER, but there's no targeting option or anything for you to have to micro. So, there's just not a lot of stuff to micro. And the pacing, it can be a little bit challenging. But overall, the pacing is, so far from what I've played, relatively smooth. And in the tower defense version of the game, you can build towers through the wave, and then you get more money at the end of the wave where you can build more towers during the go break. And it doesn't start until you are ready to start it. So the pacing for that is good. The macro play is non-existent. There's nothing macro that you can do. So it's a 0 out of 10. The map design, I give it 10 out of 10. They're all very unique. They're all very specialized. It's kind of puzzly, but at the same time, it's puzzly with giving you your ability to have your own answer for whatever that looks like. There might be a more optimal, well, especially in the story mode. I guess in the tower defense mode, there's probably just the one optimal way to do it, one best tower to do it. More of a puzzle on that one, but the map design for the story mode is really cool. I like it. The strategy versus combat is a 10 out of 10. There's no combat. I mean, you just stand there and you just throw your boomerang. But yeah, you run around, you put towers, and they're trying to fight you, but they're also trying to fight the towers at the same time. So your positioning and the tower's positioning and all that stuff kind of goes hand in hand and matters. Replayability, I give it a 5 out of 10, only because there's mods. Like, it's a fun game to go through, and I could see somebody replaying the tower defense section to try to get like a better results. However, overall, I think the replayability, there's not a ton that is offered other than, like, I think there's mod support, but I don't think it's like very good. Well, I know there's mod support. There's like a mod section. I think there was going to be more work in that. I don't know if it's getting worked on still, but there's a section for mods. It's not through the Steam Workshop though. It's through something else. I don't really know what it's through, but there's a section for mods. So 5 out of 10 for that. And for the price, 3 out of 10. The game is cool. It's cute. It works. No issues with it, but I just don't think it's worth $20. $20 is pretty steep for a tower defense game. It's got to be one of the better ones to be $20 for a tower defense game. For an action, story-driven style game, I don't know. But for a tower defense game, for this, $20, too much. I'd like to see it at like 15. Which takes our total for Dwerve to 59 out of 100. Alright guys, if you've played it or you're looking forward to playing it or something, let me know what you think about it in the comments below. As you leave a comment and a like and a subscribe. And I will catch you on the flip side. Deuces.